This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, getting you ready for today's sports day.
3 of the first 4 games have been at home, so at some point in time you're going to have to venture outside the 806, so that'll start this week.
While having a little fun along the way.
Always good if you can blame it on somebody else, right?
Yeah, sure.
Especially some media guy.
Sure. Right, some media guy.
Catch the show live weekday mornings from 6 to 9 on Lubbock Sports Station, Double T 97.3.
Not always accurate, not always fair. Just try to be entertaining.
The key word there was try?
Absolutely, the key word is try. We make an effort of it. And if you don't succeed, try again.
That's right.
That's what keeps coming us back. I thought of Jeff yesterday when Tony La Russa's official retirement was announced. Does that make you happy?
The man's a Hall of Famer for a reason. I wish him nothing but the best in his recovery. I am ready for a new manager for the Chicago White Sox, yes.
He's 78 years old.
Right.
Today.
Yes.
78 years
78.
old. I mean, he be managing a major league team.
No. Kind of sounds like a guy that...
I'm sure there are lots of 78-year-olds that have a great mind and are
Good
still
motor.
really smart folks, but man, that just doesn't seem like a 78-year-old's job.
Right.
Would I listen to him tell baseball stories all day? Yes.
Yeah.
Do I want him talking to my baseball team? No.
I'm gonna listen to him tell the story about not getting the pitcher up in the World Series against the Rangers and blaming it on a phone. Yeah, right. I lost. I don't want to say I lost all respect for him. I think he's a great manager, but I mean, he just became a joke to me after that.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, people can't just say I messed up.
Yeah.
I mean, I got no time for them.
I made a mistake.
Yeah.
Hey, so Jeff, do you have a list of prospects for your ball club there?
Oh, well, you see, now that I know that every former Hall of Famer that is still alive apparently is up for the job, I'd like some fresh blood that maybe hasn't managed. Jeff Bannister would be fun.
Oh, okay.
I think he's deserved another shot, and surprised he hasn't kind of gotten one. That would be my 1A, I guess, is the way to put it at this point. But it's really not Tony La Russa at this point.
There's a couple things that irritate Jeff. One was Tony La Russa, so we've eliminated that irritation, right?
And we were completely in charge of that decision, yes.
The other irritation is any discussion whatsoever of Tyler Shuck. I thought Jeff was going to come out of his chair yesterday when
I was not the only one.
When that question.
About half the press corps was all doing the same thing yesterday.
Well, at this point, I mean, it's pretty obvious. I mean, it would, in my opinion, take Donovan Smith being spectacular on Saturday for the job not to be going back to Tyler Shuck after the bye.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what the questions were asked, but I mean, he's going to be.
It's just an update.
Well, he's going to be the starter in 2 weeks, right?
I think
2
so.
or 4.
2.
Because we got the bye week.
We got the bye week.
It's going to be either West Virginia.
So what was the status?
He's throwing the ball.
He's throwing the ball. He's gonna throw the ball this week. He's hopeful for West Virginia. He's going to meet with the doctor at the end of this week, and then we'll see if he's ready for West Virginia. If not, then Baylor, and then we'll see who gives us the best chance to win.
I mean, does anybody think that Donovan is still going to be the starter?
I think that he's the starter unless. I think he's the starter at this point unless Tyler Shuck can't go. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's just been too many ups and downs and too many turnovers, and the turnovers are hurting your team. And I'll be the first to tell you, as I have, I don't think it's all on Donovan. I think that you put a young quarterback with a struggling offensive line and a receiving core that hasn't always helped him out. It's a recipe for disaster.
Yeah.
Okay, and we've seen that disaster at times. Okay, I would just be really, really shocked if Tyler Shuck is not starting. If he's healthy after the bye week, I'd be shocked if it's not Shuck.
I don't know about half the press corps. I didn't. You.
I looked, and half the press corps went, "Okay, you guys can see me, so you can describe it as, faces and hands, and it was, everybody kind of just moving around in their chair all at the same time.
Wow, we were in a different room together.
Oh, they weren't getting excited for the question.
No, I know. I looked at you and I just went, oh, man, here we go. Just please contain yourself. And you did. You contained yourself.
Yeah. I know how to shut up in a press conference.
You guys.
6:35 this morning.
I don't know what I'm going to do with you two boys.
It was fun. Do you want to hear an update on Baron Morton? How's his progress is going?
Sure.
Okay, here's offensive coordinator Zach Kitley on the Baron Morton progress.
Yeah, I mean, we're still, there a couple weeks ago, we split their reps about 50-50 this last week. Again, after Texas, I thought Donovan had a really good performance and really stepped up his game. So we cut Baron's reps back just a little bit. But those are the only two guys getting any of the reps at all moving forward. So both those guys are getting plenty of reps. Baron's still a young guy and still just learning. His biggest thing that we talk about is just the operation of the offense, the little things, where to signal, what O-line code. Again, Baron's very, very talented, as everybody knows. And it's just he's waiting his time, and if something happens or whatever, I don't have any hesitation throwing Baron Morton out there. And he just got to continue to get better, and he is every week. Again, I'm still just trying to develop him into the mental mindset more than the physical traits moving right now.
What do you make of all that?
I make that the same struggles that Donovan Smith is having reading defenses and doing exactly what the offense wants him to do is that what Baron Morton struggles with as well. Maybe even he's a step behind.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like to me.
And I think that Donovan Smith is not given the opportunity to, you don't have a choice, right? We're not going to say he's not quite ready for it yet because you got to have him out there. Mm-hmm. All right? And clearly he could use the same grooming that Baron Morton's getting. But clearly I don't want to say they don't have the confidence in him, but they feel like he's not ready, that Donovan's more ready.
Yeah.
Otherwise, with the struggles that we've seen, Baron would be in there.
We'd have seen some of that.
Yeah, we would have seen him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so, and again, that's not to say that I don't think that he has a bright future or anything like that, because I think he's talented too. He appears to be. I think both of them are, but I just think that both of them are maybe a little bit overwhelmed by the mental part of playing quarterback at this level at this point. Yeah,
it was just a real. That was interesting that the reps are still being split to a certain degree, maybe tailored back just a little bit, but that maybe he just doesn't have a complete. And Coach Kitley didn't say this specifically, but it doesn't sound like he has a complete grasp of the offense yet.
Well, there's so many things that go into it. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what it sounds like.
So much more difficult than
just trotting out there.
Being I don't want to downplay any position, but running back. Hey, you run this way, I hand you the ball.
Right.
Okay. Wide receiver, here's your route. Okay. There is some, see what the defense is doing, and then I change. Maybe I sit down in the middle of the zone compared to running through it. Whatever. There's part of that. Don't get me wrong. I don't mean to downplay what they do. It's just the quarterback position is so much more
intricate.
Yeah, mentally taxing, and it's got to be a difficult position for a young player to play, and experience is key. That's why you see experienced quarterbacks usually be the best quarterbacks. That's not to say that some of them can't step right in and be immediately really good players. There's no doubt about it that some do, but you got to be a special one to do that.
Yeah.
And I think you've got two pretty good young ones. I think, in my opinion, maybe more talented than Tyler Shuck, but Tyler Shuck's age and experience allows him to understand the game better, understand the offense and how to read defenses, and therefore take care of the football a little bit better than those two guys do. Even though they ultimately may have more talent. I don't know. That's yet to be seen. But I surely would not be giving up on Baron Morton. I just think that it's, he's not there yet.
6:40 this morning. Your thoughts, your comments, Yates Flooring Center chat line. We get this one. Tyler Shuck won't last a half. He will get hurt again. Hope not, for his sake. But that is certainly a concern, when you kind of see what's transpired with him. But certainly hope not.
Your morning blend of sports.
K-State is coming off a big win over Oklahoma. Of course, the Red Raiders off their 37-34 overtime win over number 22 Texas.
And humor.
Sure to tell them that. You suggested that. And, of course, that got a big laugh.
This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3. Catch the show live weekdays from 6 to 9 on Double T 97.3 FM or on the Double T 97.3 mobile app.
This day in sports history on this, the 4th day of October, 2022. Here is Jeff McGuire.
We were talking about longest playoff droughts earlier. How about this? 1873, the Toronto Argonauts Football Club in the CFL forms as the Argonaut Rowing Club Rugby Football Squad. They're the oldest existing pro sports team in North America, still using their original name. 1906, Chicago Cubs beat the Pittsburgh Pirates 4-0 to end the Major League Baseball season at 116-36 with a .763 winning percentage. No team in baseball has been able to match that since then.
It's impressive.
1938, Baseball World Series, New York Yankees win their third straight championship, beating the Cubs 8-3 at Yankee Stadium for a 4-0 sweep. 1953, the 50th Baseball World Series took place. The Yankees beat the Dodgers 4-3 at Yankee Stadium for a 4-2 series win. Yankees record their 5th consecutive World Series. MVP, second baseman, Billy Martin.
I don't know that I knew he played second base.
People forget he was a pretty good baseball player.
It's funny when you're an idiot, people forget the good things about you.
1955.
I mean, is that unfair?
Nope.
No, it's not unfair. It's not unfair. That's not unfair at all.
Yeah.
I was trying to do the keep your mouth shut so people don't know you're an idiot kind of thing there.
Yeah, me too.
And it didn't work. The Brooklyn Dodgers in 1955 win the World Series at last, beating the Yankees 2-0, which is weird. Like the way this reads, it was 2-0 in 55, which just seems weird. Maybe the score of the final game was 2-0.
Dem Bums finally won.
They'd lost the championship 7 times already.
Goodness.
5 of those losses came at the hands of the Yankees. 1962, Willie Mays scores in the second inning for the Giants, ending Whitey Ford's record Baseball World Series consecutive scoreless inning streak at 33 2/3. Yankees beat the Giants 6-2 in Game 1 and 4-3 in the series overall. 33 2/3 innings of World Series baseball where you don't allow a run.
That's crazy. That's dominance.
1969, Major League Baseball holds the first league championship games. National League Champion Series, New York Mets beat the Atlanta Braves 9-5. Baltimore Orioles beat the Minnesota Twins 4-3 in the American League Championship Series.
They had expanded for the 69 season in both the National and the American League, and that's what prompted the additional playoffs. Previously, you just had the American League and the National League, and they
went to the World
Series.
Mm-hmm.
1972, future Baseball Hall of Famer Ted Williams manages his final game as the Texas Rangers lose to the Kansas City Royals 4-0 in the last game played at Municipal Stadium. 1996, left wing Mike Donnelly becomes the first player in NHL history to play for all 3 New York teams, the Sabres, the Rangers, and the Islanders, when he suits up for the Islanders in a 1-0 loss in Los Angeles. Hockey's been around a long time, and have it taken until 96 to have one guy play for 3 New York teams? I find that interesting. In 2001, Barry Bonds hits number 70. It is National Taco Day. Yesterday was Soft Taco. today is just taco day.
We learned the difference between a taco and a burrito yesterday.
Well, soft taco.
Soft taco.
Now we're just talking the crunchy taco. Happy birthday to Dakota Johnson, 33. Alicia Silverstone is 46. Derek Rose, 34. Susan Sarandon is 76. AC Green, 59. And as we mentioned earlier, Tony La Russa is 78 today. And on this day in history, kind of a big event, Soviet Union inaugurates the space race with its launch of Sputnik, the world's first artificial satellite, in 1957. The spacecraft, named Sputnik after the Russian word for fellow traveler, was launched at 10:29 p.m. Moscow time. And that is this day in sports history.
That little signal right there indicates this little signal right here. Tired of national radio contests the other stations do, where local listeners have little chance of winning? So are we. That's why Double T 97.3 has teamed up with the Home Zone, where they make your house a home, to give away $10,000 right here in good old Lubbock, Texas, America. All you have to do is listen right now, then at 8:45 and at 4:45 during Tech Talk for the secret word. Enter it to qualify for the $10,000 grand prize that'll be given away November the 18th. The more times you enter, the more chances you have to win. Today is Tuesday, October the 4th. I'm doing this to help myself. At 6:45, the word is Raptors. 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 Go to WT973.com and enter to win, and your chance to win $10,000 from Double T 97.3 in the Home Zone. You cannot win if you do not play. Okay?
That's right.
6:52 this morning here on the Morning Drive. Thoughts, comments, Yates Flooring Center chat line. Go to Double T 97.3.com for that, or the mobile app. Benchmark Hotline is also opening. We had two coaches fired over the weekend. One may be on his way out, according to Paul Feinbaum, by potentially the end of the week, if not the weekend. The natives have been very, very restless at Auburn. And Brian Harsin, who probably has been square peg in a round hole almost since the day he got there, is in just his second year, but there continues to be a lot of scrutiny about where they are. So he says, Feinbaum does say that the end is nearer for Brian Harsin after they blew the 17-0 lead to LSU and went on to lose. Seems like a duck out of water.
They've been wanting to get rid of that dude for a while.
Almost since the day they hired him.
Yeah.
You know, almost since the day they hired him. So it'd be interesting to see what they do. I mean, you know, they forced out Gus Malzahn. And you know, Gene Chizik won them a national championship, and that didn't satisfy them very long.
Sure didn't.
No. So it'd be interesting to see what they do.
There were questions surrounding that national championship. Maybe the payment of their quarterback. Just getting NIL deals before NIL deals existed, Chuck.
You know, it's probably some of that.
Probably.
Probably. Yeah, most likely. Most likely. The other thing that was interesting from yesterday, Paul Christ, who was fired over the weekend at Wisconsin, he had almost $20 million coming to him, but his buyout is going to be $11 million. So he negotiated a buyout. The $20 million was left on a deal that would have paid him that through 2027, but he's agreed to take a reduced amount. Buyout will be paid no later than February 1st, and they say all the money will come from the University of Wisconsin Foundation, which is the school's fundraising organization. No, they made it clear, no public money. But man, I still look at this and go, most schools would build would build a statue for a guy that wins 72% of his games. 67-26. He's young. He's 56 years old. The thought is he took less money so that he could go get a job immediately somewhere else.
Okay.
That's the thought there.
Maybe so.
Because the that wasn't announced. The thought was that, by doing that, it would put him in a position where if something opened that he wanted to go to, whether it was college or pro, that he wouldn't have to have money reduced from Wisconsin from that buyout by getting that money. So basically, he took less maybe to get more in the immediate future. Yeah.
You're listening to the Morning Drive podcast from Lubbock Sports Station, Double T 97.3, recapping the night that was in the world of sports.
A little bit later on tonight, we'll have the Astros and the Diamondbacks. That'll be at 8. And then the Rangers playing at Seattle tonight.
And also bringing some humor to your day.
Was it pretty big?
Yeah, I mean,
impressive.
Yeah.
Was it fascinating?
I thought it was fascinating. It kind of smelled, but I mean.
Hear the show live weekday mornings at 6 on Double T 97.3 or on the Double T 97.3 mobile app.
No, it's not time for anything.
Time for a Texas Tech football discussion.
Time for more of the morning drive.
Time for more of the morning drive, right?
Time for more excitement.
We'll have Ranger Baseball on the air today. Chance for history today with Aaron Judge going for number 62 as the Yankees and the Rangers will play there in Arlington. They'll play two today and one tomorrow, and then we'll see. Now, let me ask you this. I'm guessing this is not the case. So the record is for the regular season, right? Correct. So if he got one in the postseason,
no,
it would just be his 62nd of the year, but it wouldn't count in terms of the regular season record.
Correct.
But it counts in his total. But it just wouldn't count for that. Have you ever, like, let's just say you get there in time today, and you sit down in the 4th or 5th inning, and Judge comes up and hits one, okay? And you get to witness the 62nd. I mean, obviously, that is huge history when you think about it, because in the American League, it hasn't been done since Maris did it in, like, 1960, right? 61, whatever.
61.
61. He hit 61 and 61. Would that be the most historic thing that you've ever seen?
I guess so. I mean, I've been in a couple Super Bowls, but they were just Super Bowls.
Yeah. So it weren't your team. They were just.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess so. I guess nothing's really even close.
You're right.
Yeah.
Right. Nothing even close. I mean, I was thinking about that.
I saw Nolan attempt to pitch for 300, but he got a no decision. Tried to get his 300th win, but that would have been pretty cool.
So when you think about it, I mean, that's pretty cool stuff. I mean, sometimes you go into a sporting event and something historic happens.
You don't know it's coming.
You don't know it's coming,
yeah.
Right? But
like seeing a no-hitter,
right?
Or seeing a
right.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah.
Right. So I would tell you maybe the most historic thing that I have seen would have been Game 7 of World Series. That would have been the most historic thing that I've seen. That was a team accomplishment. Wasn't an individual accomplishment.
Yeah.
But it's just the cycle of life is kind of right in front of me right now. It's interesting. Maybe this is only interesting to me, but it's like I've got two other brothers, and my one of my brothers so Saturday night I was at the fair with our family and the grandsons, and one of my brothers was at his daughter's house putting together a trampoline for his 7-year-old granddaughter. And then my other brother was in Manhattan playing beer pong with his 2 kids. It's just like the cycle of life. He's got one that's a college graduate and one that's still going to K-State. And they were somewhere in Aggieville, and he sent a video of him and the kids playing beer pong together. And so I thought that was kind of fun. It was just like, oh, the cycle of life sure is interesting right now. It's like tonight, my big adventure tonight is going across the street to Buddy Holly Hall for the Cocoa Melon. That's my big adventure tonight.
Excited.
It will be for the almost 3-year-old. But you're You're gonna do that. Somebody says this 62 is the record for the American League. Okay, it's the record for the American League. It is historic. I think it's historic. It's all subjective, I guess, in terms of how you want to look at it. But 62 is the record for the American League, and it would be historic. So, you want to get into semantics? I get it, but
it is weird that we do that in baseball, but don't do it in other sports. Like we don't split up the NFC and AFC touchdown record in any way, shape, or form. We don't separate the rushing record for who has the most rushing yards only in the AFC or NFC. But it makes perfect sense to me to do it in baseball.
There's a reason 61 is still thought of by many as the record. Okay, 61 is still thought of. This is not a big deal because it's an American League record. It's a big deal because 61 is still thought of as the record. There are so many people out there. I am not one of them. There are so many people out there in this world that don't count what Bonds and Sosa and McGuire did. Period. Okay, they don't count it. And that's why this has been made such a big deal out of. Okay? I say the games counted, so the stats in the games counted, the home runs counted.
Right.
I'm that guy, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just, like, I hate how this has all gone down. I hate that ESPN has made the world hate Aaron Judge. I hate that because there are people out there that don't agree with the record, there are so many people out there that are rooting against what I think is a good guy, okay? And I hate this argument, okay? I hate it. I can't stand it. There are a bunch of jerks in the sports world, and Aaron Judge is not one of them, okay?
I think it's pretty cool what this is.
And everybody when this, he's only 7th all time, blah, blah, blah. Just accept there are people in the world that don't accept the cheaters, okay? I think they were cheating too, but I accept it because I think pitchers were cheating as well, okay? It's different. I don't care. It's different. It is, all right? But I'm just, like, I just feel like people are so inclined to tear down what he has done because their football game on Saturdays got interrupted and because he's a Yankee or because, just they don't want to hear about it. Whatever. I get it. And, I hate trying to defend or stick up for it or whatever. Because I'm one that believes 74 is the record. Okay?
Or would be the record. Is it 73?
73, 74. Whatever it is.
73.
Whatever. Okay? Whatever. What Bonds did is the record. I get it. Okay? But everybody it's so negative about this. It just, it wears me out.
Yeah.
Just wears me out.
And I guess I'm of the age, and maybe this is why it's a little bit different for me, and why what Jeff said, I understand that, but I'm of the age where there was a true difference between the American League and the National League growing up. Where there was
sure,
and where you only got the American League games, and there wasn't interleague baseball and all this. So you understood that there was an American League record, there was a National League record, then there was a Major League record. I guess that's just my perspective from where I sit. Mm-hmm. I get it. I know that there's the Major League record, but I also look at it from an American League standpoint, and the fact that he's doing this as a right-handed hitter, is still. It's very impressive. I think it's cool. So, anyway, I think it's cool. I hope you get to see it. Okay.
I'm just so beat down by the negativity about it. I'm just slick wore out.
See, and part of my deal is I've been so busy on the weekend watching other games. I just or once our game was over, I've had other things that I've had to do. I've not been distracted by the quote interruption. I think it's cool when they do that, when they interrupt the game for a historic moment. I want to see that. I've made a point to try to see the Judge at bats as much as I can. But anyway, that's just me. All right, I got off the beaten path here just a little bit. I apologize for that. Go ahead.
No, you're good.
Joey McGuire. I think I have time. I don't have time for this. We'll get to this, but he will talk at some point in time this morning about what they can do better on the road. And I mean, they're trying to do things a little bit different. One of the things that he talked about yesterday, Jamie, was maybe how they're practicing in terms of doing what he calls like a sudden stop and just trying to adjust things, have a sudden change. He said that with regard to starting better on the road, he said maybe it's something they can do in practice. He said the crowd hasn't been a factor. He doesn't feel like his guys have been overwhelmed. But yet, he said there's been a difference between the first and the second quarter, or the second quarter and the third quarter, from how his team has started. And one of the things that he cited for that is maybe calling stuff that they've had the most reps in and doing what we do. So you may see a little bit of a change in terms of the plays that they have repped the most, that maybe they feel the most confident in, starting with those plays, whether they're running or passing, and doing more about what they do as opposed to maybe what they've been doing. So that may be the biggest adjustment that you see on Saturday in Stillwater.
You're tuned in to the Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3, recapping the night that was in the world of sports.
That's not to say that they don't respect the run game that you have, but you're talking about one quarterback leading the conference in passing so far this year. And remember, he didn't start the first game.
All right.
Still played a lot, though.
And also bringing some humor to your day.
I just don't want to disappoint you. As much as I disappoint you, I don't want to disappoint you in some things that you expect from me.
Hear the show live weekday mornings at 6 on Double T 97.3 or on the Double T 97.3 mobile app. Jamie's question of the day on Double T 97.3 is presented by Bizarre Solutions. Call them today for a free cybersecurity audit.
What you got, Buttercup?
All right, sometimes when Chuck calls me Buttercup, I feel a little awky, as my 15-year-old would say, and I want to get up and leave.
Awky. That's a new word. That's a new word. I like that.
Yeah.
Awky.
All right, so when things don't go well, I like to try to flip it to the positive side of things. There was a lot to not like on Saturday, but there was some to like. So who were you most happy with? Who's your team MVP? Or maybe it doesn't have to be a player. What were you most happy about on Saturday involving the Tech football game with Kansas State?
Okay.
Not that you like your chicken wings were perfectly cooked or anything like that.
We did have some wings during the game. Okay.
Yep.
We did have some.
So did I. Mine were a little bit done more than I like them. I like them crispy, but they're a little bit too crispy.
The lucky lady was spot on with the chicken wings.
It's good.
It's funny because
It's awesome.
I grabbed some at the last minute at the store, and while I was in the store doing that, this lady stopped me and she wanted to see what kind of wings I had bought. I said, "I'm sorry, ma'am, I got the last 3 bags." And she's like, "Well, I just wanted to see what kind you got. Are those good?" I go, "Yeah, they're really good." It's more than you wanted to know. I know.
It is more than I wanted to know, but I also I'm amazed that how many conversations you have in a grocery store. I mean, every time I go in a grocery store, I bet 95% of the time I don't speak a word.
I don't know that I've ever gone to the grocery store and not spoken a word.
I don't have the conversations that Chuck has.
But I mean, do you wear something that says "Talk to me"?
No, I think I just look like a friendly guy as I'm shopping, as I'm man shopping through the store. It's just kind of doing what I do.
Chuck has conversations longer than I want to be in the store, but I'm not silent through the store either. There's the excuse me and let me go through here.
Okay, all right, okay.
There's also
that's
the
probably fair. Or
when there's 2 of us waiting for one person to get out of the middle of the aisle and they finally move, giving that look like, well, now we get to go.
I seriously had a guy, and he was with his wife, ask me on Saturday morning if I'd been able to convince my mom to root for Texas Tech yet. And I said, no. I said, I'm calling her on my way home. And I did. I convinced my mom to at least, root for us in the first half, knowing that we needed to get out to a fast start. And she's, I'm just going to root for both sides. I'm like, no, Mom, we really need you to root for us. Don't worry about your K-State children and grandchildren. We need you to root for us. Anyway, I think, the easy...
Clearly your mom didn't do a good job because we didn't get off to a fast start.
I know.
So now we know who to blame.
Blame Nancy, right? Okay. The low-hanging fruit on this is Xavier White because he had 9 receptions, 120 yards, 120 yards, had a touchdown. Miles Price, he had a pretty good day. Then you look at the defensive side, and Krishan Merriweather, recovers an onside kick, has 7 tackles, 6 solo.
Yeah, I just look at Merriweather and feel like he got taken on a couple of those big runs.
Okay, yeah, that's fair to say that. And then Trey Wolf, he kicked a big 51-yarder, but missed the 42. That was basically maybe the turning point in the ball game.
Yeah, I'm not going there.
I know you're not. I know you're not. I guess I'll go with Xavier White. Jeff?
I think that's a good one.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that what we saw was the tip of the iceberg for White, and that's something that's working. Let's go back to it. Mm-hmm. And we'll see more of that in the future.
This is kind of a strange answer, but it's me, so we expect that. The fight the team showed in general, being down,
that's a good
have
point.
the defense get stuck in some bad situations and hold the field goals. You get the touchdown, and you were literally down 1 score at that point, and the Kansas State had scored 3 times because your defense had done a good job. And then you tie the game at 20, and you're right on the edge when you miss that field goal of feeling like you're ripped the momentum out of Kansas State's grasp at that point that they'd had up until then. That we have seen teams give up, especially in Manhattan. We have seen teams wearing the red and black that I was never embarrassed on Saturday. There have been lots of times we've seen a team go on the road and we were embarrassed by what showed up. I was frustrated, but I wasn't embarrassed.
Well, that defense sure could have given up when, you get...
The 19th time this season they've been put inside the 20? Yeah.
Yeah, the way that
and they're not
served there in the first half, you're only down 13-0, could have been very easily 21-0.
Sure.
And so the fight that might be the we're all in this together. You don't get the feeling with this team that it's the offense is screwing up, so the defense has to go save them, or the defense is screwing, the offense has to go save them. It's a team.
I do feel like the defense is having to save the offense.
No, but they're not. They're not.
Yeah,
saying.
No, that's fair. I'll tell you, Chuck. Jeff started with saying this is a bit of a crazy answer. Is that what you said? That's where I was the whole time. I actually said out loud to myself in my basement Saturday afternoon, man, I am so impressed with the way this team continues to fight. Okay. It was 13-0 and it looked like you were going to get embarrassed. Mm-hmm. And you got to halftime and it's 13-10. And I was incredibly proud of our team, the way they fought back, the way they just kept battling, the way they, it looked like that thing was going to spiral out of control. And I just felt like, man, what a mentally tough team.
They leveled off the plane there.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, no, you're right about that.
And so you get it tied, and then they go back up.
Good answer, guys.
They go back up by a touchdown, and then you come right back again. Mm-hmm. And I just kept sitting there throughout the course of the game going, man, I love the way this team just continues to battle back, and no give up. And it seems like it almost seems like sometimes they're better with their backs against the wall. And so I'd love to see them be really good when their back isn't against the wall too. And like, hey, let's put somebody away here. But I was really impressed with that. And that makes me happy because it feels like in recent years we haven't been able to say that. And that was, so even as we go into the fourth quarter and that game starts to slip away, I think I left the game, I'm not going to lie, I left the game feeling like your offense didn't play well. I left the game being disappointed that your defense gave up so many big plays, but I like the heart and the soul of this team, and to me that means positive things are going to happen in the future if you keep playing that way. When you figure some things out, when you take care of the ball better, when you don't give up those big plays. And so I came out of the game feeling better about things.
Yeah. Okay. No, I think that may be why there wasn't just this outright outrage Saturday after the game on the postgame show.
Yeah, maybe so.
Because I mean, Jeff and I have worked together. Not necessarily always being on the air for the bulk of these over the last 7 or 8 years, but there's always been times where there's just been somebody just outraged, and there was a little bit of that, but then there wasn't anybody calling in just outraged Saturday after the game. Maybe that's part of the reason for that. Here's what Coach McGuire said about Xavier White. He said yesterday that he's getting back to who he is. He said that when he came to Lubbock and had his first sit down with Xavier White, he talked to him about the position, and he said he's a slot receiver. That's what he is. And he said he's getting more and more comfortable with that position, and that's what you'll see him as.
Yeah, I thought he was a solid running back too, but feels like that position really fits him well now.
Yeah. He also said this week that he'll return punts. Okay. He also said that both he and Nehemiah Martinez practice really, really hard, and he's a believer. Coach McGuire is that as you practice, the way that you practice, and the harder that you practice or the better that you practice, that translates to games. I mean, that sounds like a no-doubt comment, right?
Sure does.
But what he's trying to be, I think he's trying to be complimentary there, in that these guys are playing themselves into a position by the way that they practice. Translation could also be that there's some that aren't doing that.
I think the translation is Lubbock kids work harder than others. That's the translation.
He also said that they have not rewarded Trey Cleveland with points in back-to-back games. He just basically said it's the way that they practice, those three guys specifically, in terms of why they're getting more playing time and why you're seeing them have success on the field during games.
Getting your sports day started the right way. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, breaking down the biggest games.
If Texas Tech does not win the Big 12 football conference, who are you rooting for to win the conference if Tech does not win it this year?
Well, busting some chops along the way.
I hold back on sending you stuff. I mean, I'm very, very, very judicious.
We spend 3 hours a day, 5 days a week together. Why would we need to communicate during the weekends?
Right,
Save it for the show.
We do. We save it for the show.
Tune into the Morning Drive live weekdays from 6 to 9 on Lubbock Sports Station, Double T 97.3.
You can continue to hit us up on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Go to the Double T 97.3 mobile app. It's presented by Happy State Bank. Benchmark Hotline is open too. Ranger baseball today at 12:30. First pitch about 1:05 from Arlington. Then we'll have tonight's game on as well. That's barring any kind of 20-inning affair. It'll be on at 6:30.
Yep.
That'd be cool, wouldn't it?
Why does he do this to me? Why does he do this to me?
That'd be cool. Have maybe a 20-inning ball game and then play. Of course, with the runner on second thing anymore, the likelihood of having a game go much past 10 or 11 is unlikely.
Because only one team gets a runner on second? No, that's right. Both teams get a runner on second.
They do. Both of them do. Not in the playoffs, though.
Jeff, when was the last time you saw a game go past, get to the 12th or 13th?
The Astros went 12 a few weeks ago.
Okay. How many do you think have happened in Major League Baseball?
Maybe 10 across Major League Baseball in the past year.
Not very many.
Right.
Not very many at all. So Major League Baseball's getting what they wanted.
It's not like we were having 12 and 13 innings every day before.
No. I mean, I would have thought those were super exciting. But Major League Baseball
I like them.
Decided, no, we need to do away with that.
I like them. Yeah.
I hate the ghost runner thing.
I hate the ghost runner thing, too.
Yep.
Zach Kitley is the offensive coordinator for the Texas Tech football team. We just heard from Coach Joey McGuire about getting out to a better start. Here's Coach Kitley on starting faster.
Yeah, I mean, I think when you go back and you look, I felt good about it. The first play, 9 yards, got a first down on second run, came out. We just, unfortunately, we kind of had an MA on the perimeter and a block it's an everyday block for our guys that we just missed. So now you're in second down and you get into second long, so you go with the pass concept and we get sacked. Thought there may have been a missed call on that one that would have given us a big-time first down there. But then again, you're sacked, so now you're in 3rd and 17, and we've been in that scenario too many times at the end of the day. So we just got to stay ahead of the chains. If we can stay ahead of the sticks early on, and I'm talking get 2 yards on first down, 3 yards on first down, to the average person that may not seem like a lot, but 2nd and 7 versus 2nd and 12 is a huge difference for a play caller and for the confidence of your guys going into it. So we just got to stick to what we're doing and try not to go backwards.
So what does that tell you about what's going to happen on first down, at least early on? I think they're going to be more kind of guaranteed, where they would say this is guaranteed to get us 2 or 3 yards, whether it's a swing pass or a screen or a handoff or something like that. Is that kind of what you're hearing there?
I guess I would ask, what are you guaranteed? What play is it that you're guaranteed 2 or 3 yards?
Well, I don't know. I mean, that's the play callers. I mean, there's probably some plays where they feel like 90% of the time this play is going to work for us or something along those lines.
Well, it's not running the ball straight up the gut.
No, that's not worked out for us.
That has not worked out. Unfortunately, our receivers don't block well enough to guarantee a quick pass to the outside is going to give us 3, 4, 5 yards. I like what he is saying. I just wonder what those plays are. Yeah, I wonder what those plays are. I think it makes a ton of sense what he's saying, and they got to figure out what that is. What is their bread and butter? What do you do really well?
Well, it's funny that you ask that. You say that out loud because as I was sitting there yesterday, I was thinking about this. I was thinking about, they talked about Kansas State, they talked about Oklahoma State. And immediately I thought of their offensive identity. And so here's Coach Kitley on Texas Tech's offensive identity right now.
I mean, I think we've done a good job. Again, I think when you go back, this last week, I'm not saying it was 50-50, but we were, up until the fourth quarter, it was pretty close run pass, and a lot of those called runs were getting spit out by the quarterback on RPOs, which is part of the game. I just want to be balanced and win the game. Again, if it's 10-7, let's win the game 10-7 versus we score 50 and they score 52. It doesn't matter how many yards or points you score if you don't win. It's never fun. We're still not battling through some things, but dealing through some certain areas where we've got to improve, again, starting with me and my coaching staff and finding how can we really help these certain areas where we've gotten beat at times. So I don't know if we've got a full identity, but we're moving the ball well. We got to limit the turnovers. Again, if we can just take care of the ball better, we're going to be in every football game. And we got down 13-0, and next thing you know, we got a chance to go up 23-20 right there in the game. And a lot of teams maybe wouldn't have been able to battle back from that. So I'm proud of our kids' resiliency. We got a tough group of kids, so we just got to keep pushing forward. And the sky's not falling. We still feel good with where we're at and excited for this unbelievable opportunity against the number 7 team in the country in Stillwater this weekend.
I just don't think we have an offensive identity yet.
And I think this speaks to, I don't disagree with you. I think this speaks to, if you're not set along your offensive line, it just affects so much of what you do on offense. Mm-hmm. And you don't feel like, man, I'm confident that we could do this in the passing game. I'm confident we can do this in the running game, just because your struggles along the offensive line. I think that you only go as far as your offensive line can take you.
Yeah, and I think that goes back to recruiting, and that goes back to development. And
unless you have a special talent back there playing quarterback.
Yeah, but even when you had a special talent back there at quarterback, and you didn't have an offensive line that could protect him, no matter how many yards he could throw, sometimes.
Well, the offense wasn't the problem.
The defense was the problem for Mahomes. But I mean, just think if you had Mahomes now with this defense, it'd be Really special, right? But I just don't think you yet, with this, because of all the coaching changes over the last few years, I don't think you have an offensive identity yet. Where you could just go, oh, when I think of Texas Tech, I think of this, like you think of with K-State or like you think of with Oklahoma State.
What are you most confident in?
Right now, the defense getting a stop.
No, I mean on offense.
Oh, on offense?
I'm sorry, my bad. On offense. What are you most confident in?
Well, I kind of feel like if you get the ball to one of the receivers crisply, whether it's White or Cleveland or Price, they're going to catch it. Feel pretty good about that.
Okay. Jeff? I mean, if you're running a play, what do you feel the
And
best
I need
about?
5 yards. I got no idea.
Me-
There's nothing that jumps out that you have been successful with enough that I could call at any time
That's fair.
to get the offense going in the right direction.
My number one thing, take the decision out of his hands, is a design quarterback draw. Donovan's not thinking. He's not reading the defense. He's not trying to figure it out. He knows. He goes back. He pauses for half a second to make it look like he's looking to throw, and then he takes off, and then he runs. That is what I feel best about. I mean, the huge run in the Houston game was off that play, the long run there to get the game tied late, the winning touchdown. Although actually that one, I don't think that one was a designed run. I think he dropped back to pass and just saw the middle open up, and then he took off the game-winning touchdown. I'm speaking of against Houston. I don't know. That's what I feel best about right now. I feel like I'm harping on it too much sometimes, but I want to think it's, being able to get the ball in a playmaker's hands on the outside, but your receivers aren't blocking well enough. I mean, it feels like every time we run that play, we're seeing a receiver turn around and watch his man make the play. And our guys don't even have time to try to make the first man miss. I like Sir Roderick and Taj, both guys.
Running
Off tackle.
Yeah.
Off tackle.
I was just thinking that.
Yeah, not up the middle, but off tackle. So that would probably be second on my list.
I had both those guys in my head, but
Yeah, but not up the middle.
not up the middle. No, you're right about
Not
that.
up the middle. There's just no
I guess my
push
point
there.
is that we just don't have it yet.
No, that's fair.
And so when you don't have it yet and you're still kind of looking for it, it's just part of the development of the offense. I think it speaks to the youth of the offense as well versus the experience that you have on the defensive side of the ball right now.
You've been listening to the Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3. For more from Lubbock Sports Station, go to doublet973.com.